We should not, so we need not actually go and do it every time. In order to reduce our risk, we'll be creating a flow designer, which automates the whole process. So let me just show where we can actually go and create a flow. So flow designer, if you just see under process automation, we have flow designer. So we can, if we click on that, so this is where we'll be creating new flow. So these flow is like which automates the approvals, tasks, email notifications, and different table operations as well. Not only for the catalog items, for the incident, problem, change, other tables also will be having some tasks to be done, some notifications to be sent. So in order to do that, we'll be using flows. So in order to create a new flow, we'll be clicking here, and under this we have flow. So today we'll be discussing what is flow, what is subflow, what is action. So let's get started with flow. So once if we just click on create new flow, so here you'll be giving your flow name, which is, let's take triggering an accrual process. And here you can describe what and what is this flow, what it does, you can describe over here. And here application, so here we have the global application. So you can just give the, you can just keep it as it is. And in the advanced options, you can have, you'll be having the protection. It is like it should be read only or not, or run as. So who will be initiating, the user who initiates the session, means who will be triggering this flow, what is trigger and all we'll be seeing in a minute. And then system user, system user is me as a system user, as a system admin, or like that, that user will run like that. And here run with roles, only this flow should run by ITIL rules, or a user who is having ITIL admin role, like that you can specify the role. And once if we submit this, so this is the interface where you'll be creating a flow. So in flow, we have two main things. One is the trigger point, and then is the actions. So under trigger point, what is trigger actually? Whenever this particular condition is met, then that this is the trigger. So this trigger is met, then the corresponding actions will work. So in trigger point, you have like record creation. Whenever a record is created, it means like whenever a record is created in incident table or any problem table or any change table, you can select the table. Whenever a record is created, the corresponding actions you can define over here. So now today we'll be seeing for the catalog items. So this is for record. In order to create a record, or whenever a record is updated or created or updated, it initiates this. And then we have the other one, which is scheduled. So daily it means like daily this particular flow should process. And next one, weekly is where this flow should trigger weekly. So you'll be selecting the day of the week, in which day, on which day this should trigger, and what is the time, you can mention that. So schedule, the name itself says when it should run, like monthly, weekly, run once or repeat. And then we have the application. What exactly is an application? So yesterday we have seen the SLAs, so SLA definitions. So in SLA definitions also, you can define the flow. So under this, yesterday we had this particular SLA. So here, if you just see here, there is a flow which is attached. So this is a default flow. If you want to create a flow and attach to this, you can actually, here you can attach. So all flows will be over here. You'll be attaching your flow. If you create a flow, then you can actually go ahead and attach the flow here. That is where this SLA task comes into the picture. And then inbound email. In the notifications, yesterday we have seen like inbound email. So whenever ServiceNow receives an email, a record should be created in incident table or any ServiceNow table. So the triggering also you can actually define using inbound email. This will be discussing during the integration session so that it will be easy to us. And then service catalog. So whenever a item is requested, okay, so the trigger point is service catalog. So once if you give and click on done, this is the trigger point. So whenever a catalog item is requested, then this flow gets triggered. The corresponding actions. What exactly is an action? So under actions, we have three types. The first one is action. So in actions, you have ServiceNow core. So these are spokes. Spokes are like the third party applications which are there. So where you can actually get them and you can actually trigger or create a record in the ServiceNow using these spokes. So the basic spoke which we use is ServiceNow core. So what ServiceNow core contains? So here are all the actions which we can do, like creating a record, creating a task, deleting a record, firing an event. Yesterday we covered notifications in which we had whenever a event is triggered. So here you can actually fire that event and send a notification. And from here, from the flow also, you can send an email, you can send a notification, you can update the record. And for related to attachments, you can copy the attachment, delete the attachment, and we have many more in this. And coming to the service catalog, as we are triggering a service catalog, so we have these three. I mean, like you can actually create a catalog task, you can get the catalog variables, and according to that, so here if you see, uh, when I just click try it, so the flow should trigger whenever the item is white. If you want to keep this condition, you can actually first you'll be getting all the catalog variables and keeping that condition. So like that also you can do. So now what we'll do is whenever this Apple iPhone is submitted, the request is submitted, then it should follow an approval process and create a catalog task. So this is our basic idea of flow. So in order to do this flow, here we'll be going and creating an action. What is an action? First action, we need to ask for a approval. So we'll click on this, ask for approval. So in ServiceNow, in this flow designer, it's a drag and drop functionality. We have this drag and drop. You need not write any code for this. It's a low code, no code process. So where you'll be dragging the pills from here. So here, if you can just see here, the trigger, the service catalog is the trigger. So whenever a catalog is requested, a corresponding requested item gets attached. So this gets created, then you'll be dragging and dropping it. It's just like a pill. You'll drag and drop over here. And the other fields will auto-populate. And here, rules. So what exactly it should happen? So it should, we are sending an approval. We are asking for an approval. So here we have condition. So anyone who approves or all users who approves. So what exactly is this is anyone approves, let's take. So here you'll be adding the users, groups, or you can actually add the manual approvals. Means in the process whom you want, you'll be adding them. Ad hoc approvals also we mention them. So let's take for example, Beth is one of my member who I can actually send an approval for. Beth and any group. If you want to add a group, you'll be clicking on that and let's say hardware group. Hardware group. So anyone who approves either Beth and in the hardware group, anyone in the hardware group. If they approve, then then you can actually move ahead. And coming to this, so if you can just see, so we have seen what exactly is an action. Now let's see what exactly is a flow logic. So we know if conditions, else if in Java, so or in a scripting. So if is like condition, if this is there, then what it should do. So if it is approved, if the approvals are approved, means again if you just see, it's a drag and drop policy. So functionality, so in the above step, so we are in the second step, so you need to always take the record which is exactly above it. So let's take the approval status. So the approval state is approved. So whenever if the approval state is approved, then what it should do. So here, if you can just see, then you got then over here. Then what it should do. Then again, if I want to create a catalog task. So here you have an option called create catalog task. We'll be clicking this and creating. Again, if you can just see, it's again a drag and drop. So always you should take the above records. So here you don't have any requested item records. So exactly go to the previous step. So this is the record. So we'll just drag and drop. And you can add the field values like, let's say the assignment group is hardware. And if you want to add any catalog item, you can add here. And then once you can just click done. So this is a sample flow. So after creating a flow, what exactly we should do is first we need to save this. After saving the flow, you need to activate this. So only when once if you activate this, flow will work, else it will not work. Now this particular flow is related to one item. So this is my item. So for this item, I want to trigger this flow. So then what exactly I should do? I should go to that item. This is the important step. You should not forget. If you forget, this flow will not get triggered. So here under flow, you need to give your flow name. So if you give your flow name and save. So for this Apple iPhone item, this flow, whenever the request item is created, then this flow gets attached to this. Now let's refresh this, reload, and then let's submit. Once if I submit, so a request gets created. Make sure the request approvers are done. And here, if you can just see, request RATM got created. So for this RATM, what exactly it should happen? So approvals should be sent. So for Beth, as well as in the group approvals, if you can just see the hardware group in our flow. So the first service catalog, this got triggered. Ask for approval. In under ask for approval, we have Beth and the hardware group. So in the RATM, if you can just check, Beth and other users are the hardware group members. So let's say the Beth had, yeah, he's approving it. Now he approved it. So anyone, if you can just see in the condition, anyone approves, either Beth or any member from the hardware. If they approve, then if the approved state will move to approval status, move to approved. Let's check that. Once if it is done, let me just refresh and check. So under catalog task. So here in your flow, if you can just check, a catalog task should be created with the assignment group hardware. So let's check with the assignment group hardware. This got created with the assignment group hardware. It's not there on the form. Let's bring the assignment group onto the form. So hardware. So whatever you keep in your flow, everything worked. Is it clear? The process, the whole flow process, or any questions here? Any questions, or is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah. So now what I want you all to do is to create a flow where I'll just share my screen again. So it's the same actually, service catalog. And here, try to use the other actions. So we have different actions, right? So let me just show the action. So ask for the approval, in which let's take the rules like the approval rule, like uh, all users approve, not anyone, all users should approve. And then you need to create, if the state is approved, then you need to create two catalog tasks. Here I'm creating only one catalog task. I Under this you need to again create another catalog task. The first catalog task you should assign to hardware group, and the second catalog task you need to assign that to the software group. Okay, this is the same process, just the trigger is service catalog and ask for approval. I told you the condition. If it is approved, then it should create two catalog tasks. And make sure you add your flow under the process engine tab. You have a flow, right? Here you need to add your flow. It's just the name of your flow. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and start. If you're stuck somewhere,
Hey,
let me.
Manaswini,
Yeah,
actually, do you have that requirement, or shall I drop the requirement here?
yeah, you can actually drop the requirement.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
you paste it in the chat. So, can you open the float, your catalog item, that whichever the one you have?
Okay.
So, just paste it in the chat. Just copy that. I will tell the requirement. So, the requirement is, can you open the catalog item first?
Yeah. Okay. This is the catalog item.
Right. Click on right.
Yeah.
So, the first requirement is create a field called requested for, and it should reference to a user table. So that is the first requirement that we have created recently, like a variables, that you have to create a variable. And after that, if the phone selected, if the item is white, then you have to send an approval to the manager of requested for. And if the item is black, you have to send an approval to the hardware group. And after that, you should have two notifications. One notification is created to the requested for sending your item has been approved, and one notification should be sent to the whoever who approved it is, like right just or right after approval. You just need to send that, so it will be create updated, like record update on RATM. And after that, you should create two tasks. One task should send to 1 second. Where is the group name?
I think there is a request fulfillment for the hardware.
First task.
Oh, request
Yeah,
fulfillment.
so first task should be assigned to the hardware group, saying
Request fulfillment for hardware.
yeah, request fulfillment. Yeah, the description should be request fulfillment for the hardware group and assign it to the hardware group. First task. And second task should be assigned to the service desk. Service desk, and it should have get shipping details. So I have pasted everything in the chat. Just copy it and put it in your notepad and start building this flow. If you guys copy this, I will make into 2 groups, then 3 groups actually today, and we can work on this. Give me a thumbs up if you guys have copied the requirement. Okay. Chandana, Sarita, Ruchita, do you guys copy the requirement? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, having.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Just pausing this, and I'm creating the breakout rooms. Chandana. America. Okay.
Hello, people. Start.
You can continue once. In the meantime, I'll check it.
Okay. So in the yesterday's session, we have seen client side and what is server side, right? So yesterday we have seen what exactly what are the scripting locations of client side and scripting locations for server side. So can anyone define what exactly is a client side as per the yesterday's session? What
Client
exactly?
side is which is related to the fields on the form,
Yeah.
like on what the user can see.
You're right.
And server side, it's like it's anything related to the backend, like databases, etc.
Yes. So now let's see in deep, I mean, like the complete definition of client side and what exactly is this and what exactly is a server side. So if you can just see here, so the client side, so whatever we see the form UI related to the form UI, the user's browser is called the client side scripting. So which is related to the front end. So it request, suppose we are entering any data. So it will be requesting the data from the backend. It means like you're selecting the user, which is it is related to the other table and you're getting the data. So like that. So whatever you request, it is linked with the backend database, which is server side. So the server side will give you the response in return. in return it gives you the response. That is where the server side works. So in the server, in ServiceNow we have the database, the data centers. So from the backend it gives you the response. And this as client side has the access only to the fields which are available on the form. So whatever fields you see on the form, only those fields you can access. So here the limited access to the instance data, unlimited access to instance data, which is server side, because not only the fields on the form, but also it takes all the fields in the table. So the whole suppose let's take incident table, the all fields in the incident table, it has the access to that data. And the client side, it makes requests, and in return the server side will give the response. This is the client side versus server side. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the customizing in ServiceNow. So how exactly, what exactly we are customizing? So in order to make a field mandatory, or in order to make a field visible or read only, all these things comes under customizing. So in ServiceNow, we have many places where we can apply the customizations like client scripts, business rules, script includes, and UI policies, data policies, and many more. So yesterday we have seen what exactly are UI policies. So can anyone tell what exactly are UI policies from the yesterday's session? Yeah, what is UI? What are UI policies? Yesterday we have seen and we created for the catalog items as well.
They're like used to make any fields mandatory, read only, visible only.
Yes. So UI policy will control the form and which runs on the client side. And yesterday we didn't use any scripts. So just by the functionality which we had by selecting the values and making it mandatory or read only and visible. So UI policies are easy. You need not write too much of code over there. So that is where easy to use. And we use this UI policy in order to make a field mandatory, read only, and hide a field. So let's just see an example. uh, so yesterday we have created for the catalog item. So today let's create for the on the incident. Let me just go and create one. UI policies. So under system UI, you have UI policies. And let me open one incident record as well. Now, whenever my category is hardware, I want to make the subcategory mandatory. Okay, so you are making a field mandatory. So here we'll be using the UI policies. So now let me just go create new UI policy. So we are creating this UI policy on incident table. So let me just select incident and then making subcategory. And here, when this should apply, whenever my category is hardware, I'll be saving this. So if my category is hardware, then the UI policy action must be subcategory. So from here, you need to select the field, which is subcategory. mandatory is true. And then submit. Now let's check here. Let me just reload. So whenever my category is hardware, then my subcategory is mandatory. And if it's not hardware, then it's not mandatory. Why is this happening? Like if I'm selecting software, so then the subcategory is non-mandatory. And if I'm selecting hardware, it is becoming mandatory. Why? Can anyone tell why is this happening? Yesterday we have discussed it. Yeah. Can anyone mention why is this happening? Like on this condition, it's true. So here we have a checkbox called reverse if false. So if we check this box only on this particular condition, this will work. This UI policy action will work. Whenever this condition is not met, reverse if false means this will not work. If I uncheck this, let me just show you like this as well. So if I select hardware, it is mandatory. Again, if I select software, it's not being mandatory. So that is where this is very important. You need to always check this box. Is it clear now? Everyone, is it clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, next topic is the UI actions. So what exactly are UI actions? So yesterday we have seen what comes under client side. The UI policies, the client scripts, and UI actions. These UI actions will also work on the server side. So UI actions are both, like it works in the client side as well as in the server side. Why? Let's see now. So what exactly is a UI action? So if you just see the form, incident form, so the follow, update, resolve, delete. So what are these? These are form buttons. So once if I just click on delete, some action is being done. It is deleting this record from the database. So if you just see, if you just click, it's like client side, you are clicking this button on click. And what it is doing when you click again this delete one, it is deleting this record from the backend. Okay, on clicking this, it's just the deleting the record, but it is removing the data from the backend. That is why UI actions are both client side and server side. Let me just show the incident, open incident. So we need to know the terminology as well because it is very important. So these are called as buttons. So on clicking the hamburger icon, if you just see here, we have all the like add to visual task board, copy incident, create incident task. These are all the related lists related to this particular record. These are all relating. So you're creating a problem. So once if you just click on create problem, then what it does, it creates a problem by taking the incident number. So it's again an UI action. Okay, whatever you are clicking on the form, and some action is being done in the server side, then it is UI action. So you also have the related links. Again, when you click on this, some action is being done from the backend. This is another UI action. So here you are having the incidents. If you want to add, new is a UI action, edit is a UI action. So whatever you see in the form, everything are, I mean, like all clickable functions are UI actions. So where exactly you'll find these UI actions? So once if you type UI actions, and under system definition, you have UI actions. So these are all the out of box UI actions. Let me just show for incident. So we have these many UI actions, like up to 30, I guess. Yeah, 29 UI actions we have. So these are all UI actions. So these are like buttons, or let me just show one UI action. If I just open this, open this. So this is the form of a UI action. So if you just see here, form button, a UI action can be a form button, from form context menu. What exactly is a context menu? The hamburger icon. So under hamburger icon, whatever you have, those come under form context menu. Okay, form link, the related links over in the form, in the incident form, you have the related links, right? So these related links come under the form link. And list banner, list button. So what exactly is a list? Let me just go back. This is list. Again, you see a new button over here. So this is again a UI action. And if you have some links over here, then those come under list, uh, list link, and list context menu. What exactly is a list context menu? Again, if you click on the hamburger icon, you'll have, if you want to add any uh, context menu things, you can just add over here. So how exactly you'll be adding? By creating a new UI action and checking that particular box. So is it clear what exactly is a UI action? We'll obviously go in deep of each functionality. It's just you to know what exactly is UI action, UI policies and all, because it is very important.
Yeah, based out of first basic development, we have to know on the form what are things which we have and what we call and each and everything, which runs on the server side, which runs on the client side. That is important to know. So if you get the requirement, you should understand what you have to do, either it's a server side or client side. So if you can you open any one of the incident master.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so based on the requirement, you can see on the top, follow, update, close instant. If you need save, even save button on the top, that is one of the part of UI actions that you can put it here. Or most likely in your requirement, you will have to create some custom UI actions. And few custom actions, they can be here or they can be part of, can you click on that hamburger icon? Yeah, save, add to, yeah, these are also UI actions until analyze access.
Yeah, these, all these.
Yeah, and also in the related links. So there are three places where these UI actions can be. One in related links, one on the banner, or on the
Clicking the hamburger icon.
yeah,
Form context.
context. It's called form context menu. So
Yeah.
don't forget these names: context menu, banner, UI actions. These all are like vocabulary specific to ServiceNow. So ServiceNow terminology. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
So these are UI actions. And then let me just explain the client scripts and come back to the business rules. So client scripts. So as we were discussing the client side. So what exactly is a client side? So whatever fields which are on the form, the related to the form UI, and runs on the user's browser, comes under the client side. So under client side, we have client scripts, one of the scripting location where you'll be executing the client side scripts. So in this client scripts, we usually use the JavaScript. Okay, it is completely related to the scripting part. In the UI policies, you have only three functionalities where you'll be making the field mandatory or read only and visibility. But in some cases, you also have some requirements like removing the suppose, let me just say, removing these options or adding some more options on particular condition. Like suppose impact is high, then some state should be populated, some options should be populated. Or if you want to add some decorations to the fields, or if you want on some particular condition, if any action is to be done, then we'll be using the client scripts. And we have four triggers for this, which are like on load, on change, on submit, and on cell edit. So where exactly we'll be seeing that is in deep, we'll be learning while so under system definition, you have client scripts. If I just go, so client scripts. If I just run client script incident, so I call it. So if you just see client script form, so here you'll be mentioning the name on which table this client script should work. And as I mentioned, these are the triggers like on load, on submit, on change, on cell edit. In deep, we'll be learning while creating the client scripts in the scripting part. I'm just letting you know what are the triggers which we have in the client scripts. So these are the four types of client scripts, I mean the triggers. Okay, and here you'll be writing your scripting part, the ServiceNow JavaScript. And let me just show the other thing as well. For the maintain items, you have so if you see UI policies, yesterday we have seen, and catalog client scripts. For the catalog items, it has its own catalog client scripts where we'll be clicking on new button, which is a UI action again. And here you'll have the three triggers. So why we have three triggers here and why we have four triggers here, we'll be discussing that as well in the scripting class. Okay, so we have three triggers, which is on change, on load, and on submit. But for the client script which we write on the tables, we have four. Okay, just remember them. It's just the basics. So okay, is it clear up to the client side? Just raise a thumbs up or give a thumbs up or unmute and tell.
Let us know if you're stuck somewhere or if you're understanding or not. These are like really important concepts. Just give thumbs up if you have understood it. Hari, Sarita, Harika, Kedar. Hope you guys understood everything. Okay.
So shall I move ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have the server side. So what exactly is a server side? Anything, any update or anything which is related to the database, which runs on the server side, server of the ServiceNow. I mean, so let me just show this one. So So the scripting locations which come under the server side are business rules. Script includes background scripts, scripts, and we also have the workflow scripting. No, so and many more. So under server side, we have business rules. Script includes background scripts, fixed scripts, and workflow scripting UI actions. So now let's see what exactly are business rules. So business rule is like it runs or it triggers by the database operations. So if you insert some record into the database, then this business rule will trigger. Or if you delete a record, or if you try to search for a record, it's like querying a record. Or if you are trying to update a record, then this particular business rule will run. And again, here you'll be using the JavaScript which runs on the server side. Okay. And what exactly, I mean, like, we have four types of business rules, which is like before, after, display, and async. During what operation, as I mentioned, whenever you are inserting a record, or when you are updating some record, or deleting a record and querying a record, these business rule script will run. So where exactly you'll find that is business rules. Under system definition, we'll have business rules. So these are all the business rules out of box. So here you'll be mentioning one table. So these business rules will run on one table at a time. So let me select incident, suppose. So on incident table. So when to run? So as mentioned in here, we can configure four types. So the first type is before, after, and then the third one is async, and then display. Corresponding to these configurations, we have insert, update, delete, and query options. And here you'll be adding on particular conditions, this script should run or this action should work. So this is completely the backend JavaScript. So this runs on the server side. Is it clear?
Yes, Manish.
Yeah. And then we have the other one. Let me just go down. Script includes. Yeah. So what exactly our script includes is, so in the business rules, we are writing for a particular table, but the script include is not like that. So it stores the JavaScript functions and classes. If you can just see the form over here. So we are giving a name, and then we are just writing the script. Here we are not giving that any table name, only on this table this should work. So this here, the script includes will store the JavaScript functions and classes, which is a reusable code on the server side. So this will run only when we call them. So through business rules or through client scripts, we call this script includes. So let me just show where exactly we can find the script includes. Again, under system definition, we'll have script includes. So these are out of box script includes. And once if you just create a new one, so if you can just see, so we don't have any table. So you'll be calling this, you'll be storing all your JavaScript code here, like defining different functions under one class. So like that, you'll be creating, you'll store the JavaScript and you'll call them from a business rule or from a client script. So from here, you'll be calling that function, or from here, from a business rule, you'll be calling. So that's all about the script includes in ServiceNow. Again, this is a server side one, scripting location. Is it clear? So is it clear? Just raise a hand or
Yes, yes.
yeah. So another one small topic, which is data policies. So we have UI policies, which is on client side. So these are data policies which are backend in the server side. So we call them as like UI policies for the backend, where this restricts the data through imports. I mean, like whenever you are importing some data, then it will restrict those imports. And what our web services will be seeing in the integrations session. So this data policies, again, we use them in order to make a field mandatory, read only, and making a field visible. So this is just the backend thing. Same, it works same as a UI policy, but it's a backend server side. This comes under server side. You can just remember data policies. Okay, so like example, require the type field on the change form of the web services, or you can just read the second requirement. Close notes on the incident before changing the status to closed or resolved. You are making this mandatory, the close notes mandatory, in order to, before you are changing the state to resolved. Then you'll be making this, you're creating a data policy for that. So like that, in order to make a field mandatory. So like that, you can use the data policies, which is a server side. Now we have covered all the locations. So what exactly client side versus server side? Client scripts, UI policies, UI actions come under client side. Business rules, script includes, UI actions and data policies come under server side. So tomorrow, I mean in the next session, I'll be asking you many questions from this, the what are client side scripting locations and what are server side scripting locations. You need to remember and answer them. Okay, so this is it. And if you can just remember this one mind map, it will be totally clear. So whenever you'll be getting a requirement, okay, so then for first thing what you should do is it a client side or server side? If it is a client side, what we need to do? We need to make any field required. It means like mandatory or read only or visible. If it is yes, then you'll go to the UI policy. If it is no, then you'll be scripting it. Okay, like creating some client scripts. And again, so this is all about the client side and server side. If the requirement is related to the database, okay, on any insertion of record or updating a record or deleting a record, then you'll be using the business rule. If it is no, is it a form button? I mean, we have discussed, right? The buttons, links, or context menu creation. Then you'll create a UI action. If it is again no, then you'll be creating the script include. So if you just remember one flow here, any requirement, you can actually figure it out. Is that a client side or server side, and what exactly you should do? Only this particular mind map is enough.
Can we also check this flow designer thing before closing because it is working fine now?
Yeah, can you just share your screen?
Yeah, sure. Um, so if you see, so once if you click on your flow context, so basically it will come up like this. So you can see which is waiting, which is run. So catalog item request. So once it is requested, it will go for request item manager approval. So you can see it is completed till here. And once I approve it, this is my RITM. So once I approve it, you can see the request item has approved and it has also opened the catalog task. So similarly, if you just refresh this, you can see uh, this has completed and this is currently waiting. So what you have to do before doing that is just try to install that plugin which I was shared in the chat.
Workflow Studio and this. Okay.
Install that. Let's test that out. Yeah, everyone just go to that plugin and install it, and let's see if you guys can able to see the flow context or not. Yeah, and also check this process automation designer. So let me share this link here in the chat. So this needs to be updated actually. So update it to the latest version. I think old version has a lot of patch issues. So basically, if you want to install anything, it will be in this plugins. So if you can request the new plugins, update the existing plugins. If something is broken, I think the Flow Designer, the latest version is broken. So that's why I gave you the latest one. So process automation, and you can update that. So this is just a content, but I just whichever the link I dropped in the chat. So that is the latest one. So go there and update and let me know if you guys can see. First install the Workflow Studio. Installed. This is the one. If you update it automatically, it will get updated. So don't click on my link. Instead of this dev, use your link, your instance name. Can someone share their screen? Kedar or anyone? Ruchita, Hari or someone? Yeah, just want to see. Okay, now you can able to see it, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So currently, I think if you can see, your workflow has stopped right there, right? So that's the issue. Where is your workflow? No, not that execution one. Click on
Okay, okay. No, no.
So here on step number 3, it is your workflow is done actually. So what you have to do is after ask for approval, you have to link it with catalog task.
Yes.
So why that is, click on that condition. It looks like that has request approved is equal to approved. So you have issue here. So it is saying that uh, condition.
I think maybe it might have skipped because of no approves or something like that.
You have kept the wrong condition. So go to your condition and change that to approved instead of requested. Scroll up. Yeah, it is approved. Yeah, yeah.
Same thing. It's approved already.
Okay, go to your flow execution. Third tab there. What it is telling there? Okay, that is completed. It has a.
I think the RTM number created for this might not have any approvers. That's might but I've skipped the approval process.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So maybe I can create one more and see.
Yeah. Don't create that. Try to update that flow itself. Okay, at least you are able to see this, right? If you fix
Yeah.
it, it will work. And any others?
Yeah,
Hari,
I can see the same.
you can see it, right?
Ruchita, you can also just check so that we can know where did that stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing, Manaswini. I've been trying.
Oh, okay. Now you are able to see the flow, right?
Flow context.
I'm able to see the flow, but as you can see, like yeah, here I cannot see any other cat task. It's empty, just like
Okay.
before.
So just click on flow context and check where it is stopping and why it is stopping.
It says one second that the evaluated is false. I don't know.
So the condition which we kept was false. I mean, it became false, evaluated false, so
Yeah,
that it didn't went into it.
yeah, but I selected the color black, but I don't know. It should be true, right? For the logic we have created.
Okay. For the blue, it's working fine. For black, I guess it's not working fine.
Yeah,
Is it?
It's not the first one.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's check after. Okay, there.
It's not working.
Yeah.
So-
So we'll discuss in that room and complete this task.
Yeah, hello.